Let's do it. Come on in. Come on in now. So, Auntie Lee, yeah, can do a thing. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yo, welcome back to Kicking It with Auntie Leah. Thank you for everyone that has joined the live on tonight. Tonight we will be speaking about what is going on, what is really going on in small town Georgia. I'm going to ask everybody to share the live because as you can see, YouTube is suppressing the live, which is nothing new to me. They always demonetize or suppress the lives. Tonight we will be talking about Jimmy Lee Williams Sr. I did a live with this family before. We also will be talking about Kendrick Johnson directly after that. So the only person that I can see is Mary A. So welcome. Thank you for being here, Mary A. And we have some people in the bushes. People in the bushes, it's okay to speak in the comments. We definitely are respectful platform here. So I just want to thank you guys for joining. Everybody, please share the live. Share the live to your Facebook. Share the live to your TikTok or whatever. So others can join and hear about what has happened to Jimmy Lee Williams Sr. from his family directly. We have Jimmy Williams Jr., I believe, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And we also have Shanaria, which is Jimmy Lee Williams Sr.'s granddaughter. Now, before we get into the story, I want to go ahead and I want to start it off with some inspiration. Some of you have already seen the song that I wrote and the video that I wrote, and even heard it for the Kendrick Johnson case. But we're going to start it off with that because the song just really touches me. And we're really serious about this justice thing. We got a lot of trolls, a whole troll form that came out against KJ's army, but you didn't do anything but motivate us more. You didn't do anything. We got people coming to us under the guise of being supportive and turning out that they're trolls as well. But we're going to continue to fight the good fight of faith, and we're going to continue to fight the good fight of justice for everyone who has been served injustice. So let's go ahead and watch this video real quick, if you don't mind, guys. And let's get right to it.
Family, truth seekers, you asked for the full story, the full song. Here is our complete tribute to Kendrick Johnson.
January 10th.
We stand 10 toes.
He walked in. But he never walked up. Valdosta still breathing his name. And heaven's still watching. They tried to bury the truth, but God said not to stop.
Justice is coming. Justice is coming. KJ, we love you. We still standing. Justice is coming.
Justice is coming.
Justice is coming. Oh. I hear heaven drumming.
Justice is coming.
KJ, we love you.
We still standing for you.
Justice is coming.
Justice.
17 years, whole life ahead. Grandma got a phone call, her baby was dead. They said accident, but the spirit said no. Truth don't die, they just wait in the cold. Hallway step still, echo his name. Jim Wall still holding the crane. They tried to silence, tried to bury the sound. But God woke the truth up out the ground. See the tears falling on his mama face. Every set vengeance in mind, just wait. Every dark thing done in secret gon' show. God already wrote the ending, we just don't know. Justice is coming. Justice is coming. Woo. I hear heaven drumming. Justice is coming. KJ, we love you. We're still standing for you. Justice is coming. Justice. 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 Spirit of fear breaking off this town. Chains falling off. Hear the freedom sound. Valdosta shaking, truth breaking through. God said the silence is overdue. Every lie told, every hidden hand. Justice is coming. KJ, we love you. We still fighting for you. Justice is coming. Justice. 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 Justice belongs to God. And God is speaking now. January 10th. January 10th. January 10th.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me get back to it. So what we want to do is we want to watch a video about Jimmy Lee Williams Sr. However, what I would like to do is allow Junior to tell his story first about the night that led up to them finding his dad basically deceased and unalive. So to my right, in the orange and white striped shirt, is Jimmy Lee Williams Jr. Can you please share with the audience in detail what happened the night before your dad was found unalive?
Well, that Thursday afternoon, I just got off work, and I was riding dirt roads and everything, and Chad Turner called me, and he was like, "Hey man, what's up? I hadn't seen you in a while. What you been doing?" I was like, "Man, just working, man." He was like, "Man, come out here to the house." We all sitting out here, it's me and Patience and Tiffany and Dustin, and Patience was Chad's ex-wife, and Tiffany was the new wife, and Dustin was the other dude. But no, I got it backwards. Patience was the ex-wife, or the new wife, and Tiffany was the ex-wife. And it was strange to me when I pulled up out there, and all of them was out there.
Right.
So I pulled up, I got out the car. They was like, "Hey, what's up, Jimmy? You know, how you doing?" Like, "What's up, man? What y'all doing?" Tiffany was like, "Well, this is my new husband, Jimmy Dustin." I was like, "What's up, Dustin?" You know, and they had a fire pit round. They was drinking Bud Light, and it was either Smirnoff vodka or it was some kind of vodka. But they were like, "Jimmy, you want a beer?" So I got a beer at first. I drunk this, and then Chad was like, "Here, Jimmy, try this right here." So the drink, it looked funny anyways. And I acted like I drunk something. He was like, "It's good, ain't it, Jimmy?" I was like, "Yeah, it tastes good." And he gave it to Patience, and she threw the whole cup in the fire.
Okay.
I'm just sitting there like, dang, why'd she do that? That's a whole drink. She could have got, she could have drunk that.
Okay.
And so we sitting there, and around that time, it was college football season. I think Alabama and Georgia, or either Alabama and somebody was playing. We sitting there talking, and Tiffany was like, "Yeah, he's dead already. He just don't know it." And so I didn't say nothing about it the first time. We kept talking or whatever, and she said it again. I said, "Tiffany, who you talking about?" She was like, "Nobody. It don't matter like that." So at that time right there, a strange feeling came over me and said, "You need to leave from here."
Mm-hmm.
And so I ignored it at first, and we still sitting there, talking around the fire. it came so strong again. It was like, if you don't leave now, you ain't gonna leave. So I had a little flip phone, and you could push the down volume 5 times on it, and it would ring like somebody was calling you. So that's what I did. And I Chad and them, they was over there talking, and he hollered out, "Yeah, my daddy'll do anything for me," like that. So wasn't even worried about what they was talking about. And I told Chad, I said, I'm finna go meet somebody down the road. And he had this look on his face. When he looked at me, he said, "You ain't coming back, Jimmy." I said, "Yes, I am. I'm coming back, bro." And he was like, "No, you ain't coming back." I said, "I'll be back, man. Just give me a second." So I leave from his house, and I get on the highway, and I'm going. I see a car maybe a mile down the road. It turned off the main highway, and it's coming towards me. And so I'm just sitting there riding. When it passed, I see the glow on it, said Coffee County. I'm thinking to myself, what a Coffee County car doing in Axon, Georgia? So the car turned around. So I didn't have no license, no tag, no insurance. So I, you know what I'm saying? I pushed the gas, I left. So I'm going down the dirt road, the car's still behind me. So I was like, I'm gonna just make it to the house. So if they gonna get me at the house. So I'm going, and when I'm about to get to Axon, I'm thinking it's gonna be a roadblock at the caution light. But it wasn't. So I shot on through the caution light, turned at the house, and I see the car turn around in the road, like spin around and shoot back towards the other way. So I go sit at the house for a minute, like, dang, what the world? So I'm just sitting there waiting for the law to come. You know, so no law ever showed up. So I was like, dang, man, something ain't right. So I come to my friend's house in Humbleville, Georgia, and I text him. I was like, "Hey, bro, I just got chased by the law." I said, "I'm gonna sleep in your yard tonight in the car, and I'm gonna get up and go to work in the morning." So the next morning I got up, I went to work. I still had that same feeling, like just something wrong right, something wrong right. So I worked till about maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock that day. So I was coming home, and I got a call from Josh Freeman. He stayed down the road from me. He was like, "Hey, Jimmy, come to the house," you know, like that. And so I pulled up down there, and it was him and this dude named Philip Mullis down on the porch, but he's dead now. He died of cancer. And we were sitting down there talking or whatever, and so I see my baby mama's husband pull up, and he was like, "Hey, Jimmy, you need to go to the house," like that. And I was like, "Okay, is my son Tyler there?" And he pulled off. I was like, "Well, bump you, man. You ain't gotta talk to me." So I went back on the porch and sat with Philip and Josh for a minute. And we was talking. I was like, "Man, let me go to the house and see, you know, what's going on." So I'm pulling up down the road. I see my mama, my baby mama, and my sister, and there was a couple of more people in the yard. And I pulled up and said, they found Jimmy dead in the woods. Like that, he had been ran over by a tractor. So I left. I was like, "No, that ain't that ain't right there." So I left. And I went to Pearson because I was gonna try to find this boss man so he could take me out there to see what it was. And I pulled up at the sheriff's office, and everybody acted like they didn't know who I was talking about, who Terry Moore. They didn't know where he lived. So I left. So I went back to Axon. I tried to make it out there. My car ran hot. And so I was like, dang, man, it was just so crazy that night. Wow. The night before and leading up to that day. And it's still hard, I think about that from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep. That's all I think about.
I bet.
Is that right?
But what I want to do is I want to back up a little bit, because you said something that was interesting that you really didn't elaborate a lot on. It's the drink. Let's go back to the drink that they handed you. They just out of the blue, just handed you
It was already made. It was already made when I got there.
Okay.
Because when she handed it to me, the cup was already full. Or when Chad handed it to me, the cup was already filled.
Now,
he was like, "Well, here, Jimmy, try this drink."
Okay.
And something told me, said, don't drink that drink. Don't drink it. And so I just acted like I drunk something, let it run down my lips. I didn't get none in my mouth. And I gave it back. It was like, "It's good, ain't it?" I was like, "Yeah, it tastes pretty good." And he gave it to Patience. She threw the whole cup in the fire. But the thing I noticed about it, it was like a murky brown.
Right.
And I was
What did it
thinking
taste
to myself, like, dang, they drinking Bud Light beer and liquor, and this is Murky Brown. But you know, I was just like, nah, that I'm just tripping. It wasn't nothing.
Right,
But
right.
I
But
think
did
I
it?
think it was poison.
That's what I was getting at. What did it
Yeah,
taste
that's
like?
what
Did
I
it
think it
taste
was.
was it like
Yeah, I
real
think
sweet or real bitter, or what did it taste like?
I really didn't taste it.
Oh, because you
Like I
didn't
just
really.
ain't like I trucked up and let some run out, and then, but I felt like if I would have tasted it, I wouldn't be here today.
Gotcha, gotcha. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. Now,
Mm-hmm.
after you figured out that they was trying to unalive you, you were trying to get home. The cops in
So
Coffee County.
I really wouldn't. I didn't know. I just had a strange feeling that something wasn't right, and I just needed to leave there. So
Right. Okay.
I
So
left.
that
And
night.
then the thing about it, like when I got there, like to the house, Chad had called me. Where you at? Where you at, Jimmy? I
Mhm.
said, man, I just got chased by the law. He said, where you at? I'm gonna come get you. I'm gonna drive your car back out there. I said, man, I'm not going back out there. I'm not gonna go back out there and got chased by the law. He's like, man, don't worry about that. Just come on. Just come on. And I was like, no, I'm not going back out there. Heck no. And I didn't go back out there.
Got it. Okay. So at that time, it didn't come to you that they were potentially trying to unalive you at that time.
No.
When did that thought come to you? Was it when after Mr.
Like
Williams Sr.?
when I talked to Jamie Hersey, and it was about like when my daddy died, we all tried to call and call. He wouldn't answer the phone for about maybe, I guess it was around Thanksgiving. He finally answered the phone, and I said, hey, Mr. Hersey, how you doing? He said, how you doing? I said, I'm Jimmy Lee Williams Jr., and I want to know what happened to my dad. This was the first story that was told to me. He said that your daddy was standing between the back tire and the chopper, and the tractor jumped in gear. And I told him, I was like, I've been going to work with my daddy ever since I was young, every Saturday. And if the tractor was on, if he was doing something with that tractor, it would have been off. Gotcha. So I said, when you found him, was the key turned off? He said, yeah. I said, well, how the tractor jumped in gear? He said it was stuck on a stump. I said, no, it wasn't. It was bogged down, because my mama talked to my daddy that morning before, and he told her he was waiting on somebody. It was bogged down. And I said, tell me what happened again. He said it was stuck on a stump, and he fell, and the tractor rolled back on him. I said, how the tractor gonna roll with it off and the parking brake engaged? He was like, your daddy did it. I said, so what did he get from up under the tire, turn the key off, and get back up under the tire? So you expect us to believe that? He was like, yeah. He said, I ain't got nothing to hide. I said, no, that ain't right there. You sitting there telling us that. So he finally told me, he said, you go, you get your GBI and the lawyer, and y'all come on. I said, oh, we coming. He said, you threatening me? And then he hung up.
So tell the audience who Mr. Hershey is.
Mr. Hershey is the detective at Coffee County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. And he wouldn't answer the phone for almost a month.
Yeah. We didn't talk to him. I didn't talk to him till it was almost Thanksgiving. We was calling and calling. He would never answer. They were saying he was out of town. He was in a meeting and all this. And then he finally did answer. And then that's when he told me.
Gotcha.
So it's done been 3 or 4 different stories about what happened to my dad. Said it was a heart attack. He fell off the track, that rolled back on him, just different stories.
There's a lot of runaround changing the story.
Yeah, and I know this myself. If that tractor ran over him, as big as that tractor was, it would have bust them open.
Yeah, I seen it. And we all seen the picture. I'll show it again later on. But right now, let's go ahead and let's watch a video.
Okay.
That I put together about what happened to your dad.
Okay.
Right, let's see. Share screen.
The story of Jimmy Lee Williams Sr. Jimmy Lee Williams Sr. was 63 years old. He was a hardworking husband, father, and grandfather, a man who spent his life doing what many good men do every single day, working, providing, and taking care of his family. On October 16, 2015, Jimmy Lee Williams Sr. went to work just like he had done for years. He was operating a tractor skidder in a wooded area in West Greene, Georgia, in Coffee County, working for a company out of Pearson, Georgia, Morris Timberland Clearing. This was not a new job for him. This was his life. Working the land, working the woods, providing for his family. That morning, before 10 a.m., he spoke with his family. He told them he was bogged down and waiting for help. He also spoke with his wife. Those would become the last words his family would ever hear from him. He said, "Here he comes. I got to go." According to his employer, someone checked on him around 10 a.m. and reported that Jimmy was in good health. Then, at approximately 10:39 a.m., Jimmy made a phone call to the landowner. The landowner reportedly told him, "If you need me, call me and I'll stop whatever I'm doing to come help you." That call became the last outgoing call on Jimmy's phone. His phone had no passcode on it, so the question naturally arises, if anything was deleted, who deleted it? Several hours slowly passed by. Around 3 p.m., the landowner stated that he noticed something unusual. The machine Jimmy had been operating was no longer running. He said that on a normal day, he could hear that machine running nonstop because Jimmy rarely took breaks. So the landowner decided to go check on him. When he arrived, he reportedly believed Jimmy might have been fixing something or possibly taking a nap. He called out, "Mr. Jimmy?" But there was no answer. What he found next would change everything. Jimmy Lee Williams Sr. was lying on the ground behind the right front tire of the skidder, partially pinned beneath it. The landowner later stated that Jimmy was cold to the touch. He said he checked for a pulse, but couldn't tell if it was his or Jimmy's. The landowner, also a volunteer firefighter, claimed he began CPR with one hand while calling 911 with the other. The 911 call lasted approximately 9 minutes. The call reportedly ended when the landowner received another call from the fire chief. He then stated he left the scene in order to guide fire rescue and EMS to the remote wooded location. When EMS arrived, they checked for a pulse. Jimmy Lee Williams Sr. was pronounced deceased. Fire rescue attempted to move his body, but were unable to do so. They then contacted the employer to get instructions on how to operate the machine. The landowner contacted the employer and informed him what had happened. He said the employer and his son were on their way. Soon after, the coroner and a detective arrived on the scene. Jimmy Lee Williams Sr. was pronounced dead on arrival. But here's where the story begins to raise serious questions. His body was moved before his family was ever allowed to identify him. Authorities claimed he was identified by his driver's license. His body was taken to Coffee Regional for lab work and then to the morgue. But the family was not notified first. The employer was notified before the family. It wasn't until later that evening, between 5 and 6 o'clock, that someone finally came to the family home. That was when they were told what had happened. They were told Jimmy stepped down, fell, and the machine rolled over him. But there was one major problem with that explanation. The machine was off when he was found. An autopsy was performed on October 19, 2015. Then, years later, on February 5, 2018, the Coffee County Sheriff's Office officially closed the case. The family was told it was even sent to the Supreme Court of Georgia, where it was denied twice. But over time, something else began to happen. The story started changing. What was once described as an accident eventually became something else entirely. Authorities began saying that Jimmy had a heart attack. They claimed he didn't feel anything. But when the family sought answers, they were told the files had been lost in their system. According to the department, they had nothing. When the family expressed doubt, communication suddenly stopped. The detective handling the case blocked them. The family requested an independent GBI investigation. That request was denied. Again and again, they were told the same thing. Nothing was wrong, nothing suspicious. But for the family of Jimmy Lee Williams Sr., the questions have never stopped. They deserve answers, not lost files, not changing stories, not silence, answers. Justice for Jimmy Lee Williams Sr. The fight for justice continues.
Okay, so we've listened to his story of what happened, what they say happened to Jimmy Lee Williams Sr. What stuck out to me is that the landowner said that his body was cold to the touch. That don't even make sense to me.
If the body was cold to the touch, he already know he was dead. He ain't did no CPR.
Right. And then I heard that he did CPR. I'm trying to get us evenly on the screen. Oh, there we are. Then he did it with one hand. You can't accurately do CPR with one hand. I've never heard of that before. And then I went on to read the autopsy report, and it stated that no life-saving measures were performed.
Mm-hmm.
Shanaria, you can come off mute.
Yes,
Join the conversation. Join the conversation.
yes, ma'am.
And then also they said that he died of a heart attack, and they said that it didn't hurt. I don't know, not one person who have had a heart attack and said that it didn't hurt. He didn't feel any pain. And then after you guys questioned what the autopsy and stuff like that, that's when they changed it. Because first, just tell me a little bit about the lineup scenario.
Ma'am.
Tell me a little bit about how the story changed.
My grandmother, she had already had the autopsy report and the death certificate, but I did an open records request and requested everything from the coroner. But she said that she had to go through like she had like 9 boxes in her living room to go through, and when I went to the funeral home in person and talked to her, and she was like, why all these years we waited to believe it wasn't an accident? And she got my name and number down, and she told me whenever she found it, she would give me a call, because she had to go through all those boxes in her living room, because she wasn't the corner at the moment I had went up there. They have a different corner, and I gave her like a month, and when I went back up there, they told me she was out sick because she had a stroke.
Gotcha. And then one thing, Mr. Jimmy Williams, that you had told me previously that I didn't ask you today. What do you think the motive was behind the attack on your life via this mysterious drink and the ending of the life of your dad, Mr.
They tried to say that I got their kids taken by defects.
And defects is like the Department of Family Services.
Defects, child services. Yes, ma'am.
Why would they think that? Was there any reason for?
I don't know. I guess because I was the only black person there.
So were you were there when they came and took their kids?
No. I'm saying like I was going out there then, but I wasn't there when they took the kids.
Gotcha.
I hadn't been out there for a minute when they took the kids, and I didn't find that out until weeks later.
Okay. And was it anything? Did they find out after the fact that you actually were not the one who called?
I'm pretty sure they know now, but they just scared. Now my daddy dead. You can't bring him back.
Right. It's sad. It's crazy work. It's kind of similar, to what we're going through with the KJ fight, covering up and all of that. The tractor wasn't even on, and like you said,
and the parking brake was on.
And the parking,
it was engaged. Yeah.
So if the parking brake was still on, how did it roll over your dad?
Cause they put it there, and they put the tractor on top of him and put it in the parking brake on.
Unbelievable. How did this affect your family as a whole? And the question is, I guess I have the question is, I think I asked you this last time, but can you remind us of what made you, Shanaria, to go into investigative mode and not believe in your your grandpa died of an accident. I know you were pretty young when this happened. You told me you was 13.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
what motivated you to start seeking justice because something wasn't right? Can you remind the audience what that was?
Um, like when I would go out, like to stores or somewhere, or like if I would see somebody I know, and I would mention that Jimmy was my granddad, they were
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, that was crazy. What happened? I hate that happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
That it didn't sound right and stuff like that." And like his friends or like people he knew, they would say that, and I just went like to the sheriff's department and called. Well, at first I called the sheriff's department, and that's when I spoke with the detective that was over the case, and he had spoke with me. I believe that Friday. It was on a Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and he told me to give him some time because they lost their files back in 2018, I believe. He said. Um, and he was like he had to go in something they called a dungeon to retrieve the files if they did have them, and he would give me a call back that Monday, and he did call me back that Monday and said he found the hard drive and when could I come in and look at it, and I told him that Friday, so I went in that Friday and
Mm-hmm.
sat down and talked with him,
Okay.
and he was acting nervous.
Acting nervous. They just wanted you guys to just forget about it and go on and accept it what they
Yeah.
said it was. Just like in the Kendrick Johnson case, that's what they expected the Johnsons to do as well. But they wasn't having it. They still fighting it today. Well, you're looking.
Another thing, we never, like when something like that happened, they give you the clothes back and everything. They never gave us the clothes back. And if you look in them pictures where his clothes is cut, if you zoom in real close, you'll see burn marks on them clothes.
I don't. Let me see. I don't think I have the ability to zoom, but I do have this photo on my Facebook page. I don't have the ability to zoom in on while we are streaming on live, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But I did see. And how did his clothes get cut?
They cut them. They try to cut the taste marks out of it.
So this is not the initial body discovery photo. They did stuff to him.
They went through his truck and everything.
So they cut his clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Prior, you don't even have the original crime scene photo where nothing was disturbed at all. No.
Mm.
Well, my grandmother them went to go retrieve his truck.
Mm-hmm.
He had a flat tire on the driver's side, and pictures wasn't taken of that. They took pictures of the back of the truck, the side of the truck, the inside of the truck, the dashboard, and stuff like that. And when I asked the detective about the pictures of the truck, and he said he took pictures of the truck to make sure that it belonged to my grandfather. And he was like,
He knew if
"Can't
my daddy
that."
drove that truck out there, it belonged to him.
hmm And it was a flat tire on the driver's side, but he didn't take pictures of that. He took pictures of everything else of the truck.
Mm.
The initial crime scene photos. Y'all have those?
Those are the ones that they have. Those pictures of him laying on the ground. Those are the only ones that we have.
So you don't have the full crime scene photo. That's something that you need to write down and you need to request because
Mm-hmm.
they must give it to you. They have to. They cannot deny you his
See, that picture you got up there right now, that was when they took it back out there to put him back up under there. Because it was
wait,
told
wait,
us that somebody told them that they better put everything back like they found it.
wait. So they had moved them and then
Yeah,
went
they
back out
already
there.
had before we seen him or whatever, they had them moved everything. And that picture right there, that's after they had unmoved it. They had to take
So
it back.
so they
And this ain't
restate.
even the spot. That spot right there, that ain't even the spot where he was bogged down.
So they restaged the crime scene.
Yeah, they did. Yes.
My
Mm-hmm.
goodness, the amount of corruption
Mm-hmm.
And Georgia is diabolical.
Auntie,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get back with you on this particular case because you know that's where I'm from, right?
Coffee County,
Fort
yeah.
Douglas.
Yeah, I'm from there.
Mm-hmm.
I moved from there for
Mm-hmm.
like I moved from there about 2 years ago. But I'm a little
Mm-hmm.
more. That's more on the it more touch me because it's home. So
Yeah.
I'm a little more to that too.
Mm-hmm.
And that picture right there, I had asked the detective, cause my grandfather he always kept his hat on,
Mm-hmm.
um, all the time, and I asked the detective about the way that picture is and that grass is on his hand, and
Mm-hmm.
he was like,
Yeah.
that it looked that it didn't look like anybody had went out there and just threw grass on top of him. He was like, it could have been the way my grandfather was moving his hand and stuff. That's the way that grass got on top of his hand.
Correct.
And if he'd have fell backwards off of there, his hat would have been behind him, not beside him.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And if he was waving his hands and stuff like that, his hands would have been on top of the grass, not under it. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
let's be realistic here.
And his
And,
head laying on
and
a
if
half.
you'll look at that picture right there, you don't see what a tie marks that on the ground if it rolled back on it. You zoom in and look on that picture.
Where's the stump? Are they talking about
It's
this?
under his head. And
Um,
he didn't have any trauma to his head.
Mm-mm.
For him to have fell and his head is laying on a half cut tree stump, he didn't have any trauma to his head.
Now, isn't this the same medical examiner? I'm going to just fast forward to the medical examiner real quick. That was not licensed at the time that she did the autopsy.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Melissa,
that's all.
Tell me a little bit
Mm-hmm.
about that. How did you find that out?
it was a lady who had messaged me. Um,
Shannon? Was that Shannon Sharpton? Okay.
ma'am,
Was that Shannon Sharpton?
no, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Great.
It was Miss Renee.
Okay.
Her son
Oh,
was
yeah.
Stephen Johnson, I believe.
Yes. Yep. Renee McGee. Yep. We got
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
covering her story as well.
Yes, ma'am.
You went out. I can't hear you anymore, dear.
I went online and searched up her license number,
Mm-hmm.
and it had popped up that she was not what you call it?
License.
Yes, ma'am.
And her name was, tell us again.
Ma'am.
What was her name again? The lady that.
The medical examiner,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa Sims Stanley.
Wow. And
That's
see,
that's a lawsuit right there.
yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask you this. I read in the autopsy there was somebody that was assisting, that was Rodney Bryan, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Guys, Rodney Bryan is the same death investigator that was involved in the Kendrick Johnson case. He is the one that told the court and told the coroner that the GBI actually discarded of Kendrick Johnson's organs because they were severely or advanced decomposition. And then in the FBI report, he recanted that statement. Mind you, he's been doing this for over 30 years.
Leo Bicklin. You can find it.
Okay. He's been doing this for over 30 years. So it's impossible for him to mix up the vitreous with the viscera, which is the organs. And the vitreous is the eye liquid. It's a big mess and it's a big lie. So the same death investigator is involved with the Kendrick Johnson case right now. So
Yes, ma'am.
throw the whole autopsy away. That's what I think about medical examiners that are at the Georgia Bureau of Investigations. How has this how's it impacted your grandmother?
A lot.
Like she just lost, her other half.
Auntie,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Jay.
what was that name you said? You say that was
Melissa.
I'm talking about the one that you said that was with the Kendrick Johnson case too.
Rodney Bryan. Rodney, last name is Bryan. I noticed that when I was looking at the documents.
You say Brian?
Yes.
Bryoun?
No, Bryan.
Ryan.
A-N. What's his last
Yeah,
name?
Bryan.
That is his last name. His first name is Rodney.
Rodney?
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I had spoke to him. I called the GBI office and I spoke to him because I was reading over the autopsy at first, and I was calling to because he was in the room when they did my grandfather's autopsy.
I know. He was in
So
the did Kendrick's. Go ahead.
yes, ma'am. And I called him and I was like, you were in the room when they did my grandfather's autopsy. And he was like, yes. And I was like, you didn't notice anything strange? And he was like, no. And I had asked him a question about why they didn't do any x-rays or body diagrams. And he was like, that was something I would have to ask the doctor. And he was like, he didn't know how to get in touch with Melissa and that she's somewhere else, and he didn't know how to get in contact with her.
Okay.
Auntie, what is Rodney's? What is his title?
Death investigator.
See, me, honestly, I don't even think they took him to a crime lab. I really don't. I don't think they took him there.
Tell us about what you think really happened.
I just think they had him over there in the morgue and they wrote fake paperwork and did that. Because if you got real paperwork, it's going to be stamped and sealed.
Correct. 100%. Now, I can't believe that they didn't do a x-ray on him, but I do not see in the autopsy report where they said that they did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but the autopsy said he passed the blunt force trauma.
Yeah.
But
It's a blunt force trauma.
Blunt force trauma and cardiovascular disease.
Right.
A blunt force trauma to what? His head?
They didn't say.
Yeah, it just
They
says
didn't say.
What? How they don't have a area of the blunt force trauma, but that's what's the cause of death.
right. It looked like to me they're trying to act like he had a heart attack when the tractor rolled back on him, or before, which made him fall, and then the tractor ran, backed up on him. It's just a lie. But why would you not do an autopsy? Why would you not do any other test? It's diabolical.
They just trying to cover it up.
Just trying to cover it up.
Mm-hmm.
So what's next? Are you still fighting? Are you just your goal is just to expose?
We ain't gonna never stop fighting.
So what steps are you taking right now to keep fighting?
Just getting the story out there and just whatever we can do just to get the story out there for somebody to see it.
Have you consulted with an attorney to
Yes,
file?
yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I did. Like when I first started looking into it, I reached out to a good bit of attorneys, and they kept telling me about the statute of limitations. I think after I can't remember how many years they said, but it was a statute of limitations on the case for wrongful death, and they couldn't take the case.
Okay, so I highly suggest that maybe you can reach out to the KJ Foundation, which is ran by Jackie and Mr. Kendrick Johnson, who are also, well-known advocates who also assist others. There's ways around the statute of limitation. These lawyers they're scared to even get themselves involved. So that's the first thing that they're going to tell you, statute of limitation. You pass the statute of limitations. But you got to do some digging yourself into Georgia law, because there are loopholes that you could actually sue if you hit the exceptions in the law. Say, for instance, when it comes down to not being able, they say, to sue the Georgia Bureau of Investigation because they have sovereign immunity, they're agency of the state. Well, there's reason. I mean, there's ways around it. There's ways around it, and you have to do that research yourself. Maybe get in contact with a civil rights specialist or something like that to help you understand the law. Like the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, I found out that you actually can sue them, but you, especially if they're engaging in activities like lying and covering up any type of cover up or just flat out breaking the law. They're not exempt from being sued from that. So I can actually help look into the law, but I will let you know that I am not an attorney and I really can't give legal advice. That is not what I do, but I can do some research to try to lead you in the right place. You really need an attorney that's able to help you get to the process of trying to file maybe some type of civil litigations to get the truth about what happened to your grandfather.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Also, when I was sitting down talking with the detective, he mentioned to me that my that he responded to his, like with him working, he had responded to a scene because I asked him, I was like, shouldn't there be blood on the ground since he was like runned over, roll just to try to roll back over him? And
Mhm.
he was like, no, not necessarily, because I responded to scenes where somebody has got hit by a train
Mhm.
and he didn't see no blood on the
He,
scene.
he lying.
Yeah, I don't see no blood on the scene in this photo at all. It is crazy. Now, what I'm looking for is internal hemorrhaging. Did they mention anything about that?
No, ma'am.
I'm looking through the autopsy real quick, guys. I can break up. It's probably
What where is Rodney Bryan out of?
Macon.
He out
deep.
of Macon?
Yeah, that's where they did. Supposedly did
Yeah, with that, yeah.
Kendrick Johnson's uh autopsy out of Macon, but
Which we don't believe that he never even came up this way.
right,
Macon, Georgia,
exactly,
Rodney Bryan.
exactly.
That's 30 minutes for me.
Johnson. All right, guys, I'm going to pull up the autopsy report. Mhm. Okay, I'm looking for.
He didn't have on the autopsy report, I believe it said he didn't have any like internal, like in his stomach, he didn't have any damage to his stomach.
Wow, let me bring this up.
Okay. So
It does say that he has like muscular hemorrhages, intercostal musculature and soft tissue hemorrhaging associated with the right and left anterior ribs. So they did mention that, but I don't understand why they didn't do a X-ray on that area. That right there is also concerning because that's when they think that there is, injuries on the inside. But we will get more into this. Um, I am going through the paperwork. I am going through the photos. I have not found anything yet besides what we talked about tonight. Um, so we have determined they that they tried to unalive Mr. Jimmy Williams via poison, and then his dad
mhm.
was unalive the next morning. We have determined that the reason, the motive, would have been they thought that he got their children taken away. Let me ask you
Uh,
this: what are the names of the people that you believe allegedly unalived your grandfather? I mean, your father.
Detective Jamie Hersey and Shafter Tanner.
Jamie Hersey. Okay.
Yeah,
And who else?
Shafter Tanner.
How do you spell his first name?
Chaffter.
Oh, Turner. Okay. Do they have any relations to the people that tried to poison you? Any connection?
Yeah. Shafter is Chad's daddy.
So chapter.
And the girl that was out there, Tiffany, Jamie Hersey is her stepdad.
Oh wow!
Or
And were they?
he was her stepdad.
Were these officers on the scene?
And Jamie Hersey, no, Shafter ain't no officer. Jamie Hersey, the detective.
Okay.
And the land that my daddy was found on, that's Tiffany's real dad.
So, well, okay. So he was working the land for Tiffany's daddy. The
Yeah.
people that tried to unalive you the day before.
Yes.
That's interesting. And nobody wants to hear about that. Nobody.
And I asked them like weeks later, did y'all know where they found my dad at in Douglas? They was like, no, and then it come to find out it was on Tiffany's daddy's land. And she told me she didn't know.
Wow. That's crazy work. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Tiffany, is her last name Hersey?
Anderson.
Anderson, that she's married.
Tiffany Anderson.
Yeah.
Tiffany Anderson. She's married. That's his daughter. Okay. And then Shafter Turner.
Shafter Tanner.
Okay. Tanner, Tanner.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you guys bring any of this to law enforcement? Have you because it's really
they ain't even worried about what we saying because they trying to cover it up because they helped.
The detective, Jamie Hersey, I had gave him a call. My uncle said he had spoke to him, and he denied it. He was like he never spoke to my uncle, but there's a statement. It's in black and white, a statement that he wrote, and he still denied ever talking to my uncle.
But he got that statement.
Okay. All right. But I think that you told me that you didn't give a statement, right?
I talked to him and told him what I thought, and
okay. Oh, I thought you.
He didn't. He wrote up something. He wrote up that I said I was in West Green and somebody called the law. I wasn't in no West Green. That's way in Coffee County. I wasn't over there. I was in Axon, Georgia.
Gotcha. This is diabolical, y'all. This is diabolical. Diabolical. Guys, so we're gonna do some more research into the paperwork. Jay and I, we're gonna researching the paperwork, researching the connections, researching the photos and things of that nature. But what I need you guys to do is get all of the crime scene photos, not just one or two. The whole thing, the whole slide.
I have like I don't know how many of it is, but I have photos of all the photos that they took because there's a photo of the fire rescue and the EMS. They were sitting down on the little chopper thing.
Okay. So can you send those to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we're gonna do some researching this week. We're gonna try to make connections with the Jamie Hersey as a detective. We're gonna connect all that to Tiffany Anderson and then Chapper Tanner, all of that to Chad. Work on the fact that Junior here, they were trying to unalive him. I wonder if we can get any documents. Did you make any type of complaint about that, Mr. Williams?
I told people what happened, the night before, but it was like nobody was listening to me.
Nobody was listening to you.
So,
Well, in order for you to get justice, you have to start with some type of legal file.
A paper trail.
And yes, Young Lion said paper trail. But I can talk about it, I can expose it, but there's nothing that's going to be done until you guys file
Get
Mm-hmm.
all evidence and everything that y'all can possibly get on that whole case.
Right. And I'm not an attorney. Like I said, I can't give legal advice. I can try to help you research and try to find a loophole. But the best person that you need to be able to really do that knows the law is an attorney. Have you ever tried Southern poverty law?
Oh,
No.
Write that down and give them a call. They're in Georgia.
Oh, what's the name of it?
Southern poverty law.
Okay.
Yep. And I also urge you to reach out to Miss Johnson, Mr. Johnson, and see how they started, with their civil, litigations for
hmm
Kendrick Johnson. And I'm pretty sure they pretty much know the law by now, 13 years. Absolutely. And still fighting, absolutely can help. And I will send you the email address to the foundation, which is KJ's Foundation, the Kendrick Johnson Foundation, I believe,
hmm
as soon as we get off this live. So, but right now, I'm not going to hold you guys anymore. I thought that your cousin was wanting to come up and say something, but she didn't. Did she change her mind?
I'm not sure what happened.
Okay. Okay. Well, we will touch base later this week after I go through some stuff and try to pull up some laws and things like that. Is there anything else you want to say about your dad tonight other than I know it had to be hard on you as being his junior?
hmm
How did that affect
We
you?
we never gonna quit fighting. We gonna fight to the end.
Right. And I don't blame you, and you shouldn't. I want to, before I go, let you guys go. We're going to move to the Kendrick's part of the live, guys. How has this affected you as being his junior?
Like I said, I that's the only thing I think about from the time I get up to the time I go to sleep, especially if I'm not busy and when I'm by myself late at night. That's all I can think about.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I encourage you to keep digging. I encourage you to keep fighting. But in order to get it, I can, like I said, I can expose the lawsuit. I'm not even. It's not a lawsuit. I'm sorry. I can expose the discrepancies and things like that. But legally, I can't do anything. You
hmm
have to actually be the ones as his family to initiate some type of legal proceedings to be able to start giving them what Jay and I find the evidence
hmm
and the discrepancies in the lies. We can provide that to you, but it's up to you guys to actually take legal proceedings, okay? So,
hmm
without further ado, is there anything else you want to say before I let you guys?
Yes, I had something to say.
Okay.
One day, me and my grandmother, we was at the doctor office. And she had got a call out of nowhere, from her lawyer office out of Savannah, and they called her and was like they closed closed the case.
Mm-hmm.
That it was nothing that they could do because they didn't file any evidence, and they said they sent it to the Georgia Supreme Court, and they denied it, and they appealed it again, and they denied it again.
Oh, they was bought out. That's why
Did,
they said that they was bought out by Coffee County.
did they provide you any proof of anything that they stated? Do you have the document, the paperwork?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. Can you send that over to me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, perfect. All right, send that up. You still have my email address, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. All right, so yeah, hmm, it's weird. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and let you go. Please send that stuff over to me, and then we'll try to follow up with each other later this week to see where we're gonna go from there.
Okay.
Okay. All right, guys. You guys have a blessed evening. Thank you so much for coming and telling your father and your grandfather's story. And like I said, Jay and I will be reviewing the documents and the photos and things of that nature, and we will be sending you the stuff that we find. I actually do want all those photos that you have. I mean, I actually need everything. Everything that you have. You sent me a great deal of information. But if you want everything connected, please send it. All
Yes,
right. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming. We look forward to talking to you guys soon. They will be back, family. They will be back.
All right. Thank you, Leah.
You are so
thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome. Wow.
Hmm.
It's just,
That whole area around Douglas and Valdosta, and those are small cities. So a lot of people, like when it comes to exposure of racism,
mhm,
wrongful deaths and stuff, as far as when it comes to the system of law enforcement and stuff like that, it doesn't get broadcast worldwide like it's supposed to.
right.
And by them knowing that, it be a lot of little stuff that go it be a lot of little stuff, but it's big stuff that goes on in these small cities that the world doesn't know. Like and a lot of people be like, oh, this and that, just because it's on the news, but it be so much foul things that goes on into these small cities that people doesn't even know. They can only imagine what goes on in
Yeah,
these little small cities on a daily. Like this ain't no, oh, once every couple of years. This goes on there daily. Every other day, it's some conniving situation going on with law enforcement, with the judicial system, um, all together. It's something going on, and people have to like really be alert, man. Like and realize, man, you might be in big cities that broadcast these things.
mhm,
You also you have to have a heart and a soul to realize that it goes on in a lot of different other places, especially these small cities, man. These small cities is so is it like these is like the land of these places are slave owners, man. Like it goes deeper. It goes deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? Like Lakeland, Georgia is like between Douglas, Georgia and Valdosta.
right.
They still have houses. They got like ropes where people was lynched still hanging up.
Wow.
Like it's that deep.
Yeah.
Like and we just need to put that focus on everywhere, not just on the main big cities. Just because they're big, anything happen, it's gonna automatically get on the news. But these small cities, it don't reach worldwide to where it be on the news, and it be a lot of stuff being done, especially to our people, and it being covered up, and it doesn't get out there.
Right. Exactly. And I'm learning that because I live up north and I did not realize that this type of stuff was still going on. But after digging into the Kendrick Johnson situation, what an eye opener. What an eye opener.
It's
And
terrible.
it's terrible. You know why? Because it happens like every day almost. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. It really is. I don't understand none of it. And how I don't even understand how I could have been so blind to it, to be honest with you, but I was. And now, we just got to keep fighting. These people are evil. They they're sneaky. They're smart, but also not smart at the same time, right? Justice is still coming for Kendrick Johnson. We all have heard by now that the judge, and her name is Sarah Girardi, dismissed the case on uh, technicalities only, legal technicalities only. She really wasn't even trying to look into the evidence that was presented to them at all. Her main goal is to find a reason to not allow the lawsuit to go through. But guess what? The Johnsons are never giving up. The appeal is in process right now. They are still fighting, and I still believe with everything in me that justice for Kendrick Johnson is coming. Like I said, it's like a slew of accounts that came out against us like these last couple of days. I mean, they're calling people uh, liars, and they just really are just talking really bad. Like they'll say to me, "Oh, you just want to make money? How much money have you made off this dead kid, sir? First of all, it's not about money because you don't make money, a lot of money, basically, when you talk about cold cases. That stuff comes when you're talking about the trending topic. No one makes no more than $3 to $4 a day. Who cares about that? Who cares? We want justice. And nothing that you're going to say and nothing that you're going to do to stop us from pursuing justice. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to watch a video that I put together about Kendrick Johnson. And here we go. Well, I need to find it. And where is it? And Auntie Leah, what did you do? It's right here.
The timeline, the organs, and the paperwork that can't verify itself. KJ's Army truth seekers, listen closely. Because before we can talk about missing organs, missing fingernails, missing clothing, and the official cause of death, we have to talk about the one thing that holds every death investigation together, the timeline. Under oath, Dr. Marianne Gaffney Craft testified that Kendrick Johnson's body arrived at the Georgia Bureau of Investigation Medical Examiner facility on January 14th, 2013 at 6:50 in the morning. She testified that the autopsy began at 9:40 a.m., and she testified that the body was released at 11 a.m. to Owens Transport Service to be returned to Harrington Funeral Home. Dr. Craft deposition. Those are sworn times. Those are the official times. And that timeline is central because once that autopsy starts, Kendrick's organs become evidence. His fingernails become evidence. His clothing becomes evidence. And the chain of custody is supposed to document where every piece of that evidence went and who had it and when. Now, here's where the hard questions begin. Because we are not dealing with one issue. We are dealing with a stack of issues that all point to the same problem, verification. Under oath, Dr. Gaffney Craft addressed a letter attributed to Lowndes County Coroner Bill Watson. In that letter, it states that the viscera, the internal organs, were not sent back with the body for disposition, and that it was confirmed by Rodney Bryant, who was present at the autopsy, that the viscera were disposed of due to decomposition. Dr. Craft deposition. And when asked directly about that statement, Dr. Gaffney Craft testified that it was not accurate. She testified the organs were present, that she examined them, weighed them, and that the autopsy documentation, including photographs, shows organs were present. She testified that the organs were returned to the body, as autopsies are, unless documented otherwise. Dr. Craft deposition. She testified that disposal of organs due to decomposition did not make sense to her, and she testified that to the best of her knowledge, disposal did not take place at the crime lab. Dr. Craft deposition. So now the public is left staring at a collision. On one side, sworn testimony saying organs were present and returned. On the other side, a coroner letter stating the viscera were disposed of. And when two official accounts collide on something as serious as internal organs, that is not a minor contradiction. That is a credibility problem. If Dr. Gaffney Craft misled the public about the disposition of Kendrick Johnson's organs, why are we expected to believe her autopsy? Which makes no sense, by the way, because if the public can't get one consistent answer about the organs, then the public has every right to ask what else requires independent verification. Now let's go to the next layer, the transport layer, because Kendrick's body did not teleport from the GBI facility back to Valdosta. Someone transported him, someone had him, someone delivered him, and that transporter is Owens. But the Owens transport documentation does not give us what a chain of custody timeline needs, actual timestamps. Owens Transport's invoice includes fields where the time should be recorded: arrival time, return pickup time, wait time, and instead those fields are marked NC, meaning no charge, not a clock time. And because those time fields are not documented, the public cannot independently confirm the travel timeline to and from the GBI facility using the transporter's own paperwork. Now, here's another point the public needs to understand, and Dr. Gaffney Kraft said this under oath too. She testified she was not physically the person who released the body to Owens Transport. She testified she did not sign it over, and she did not put the body in his hands. She testified the release form is filled out at the exact time the body is released. Dr. Kraft deposition. So now the question is simple and procedural. If the release is filled out at the exact time the body is released, why is the transporter's invoice missing? Those same times that would independently corroborate that release. Now, let's add Harrington Funeral Home, because this is where the evidence becomes physical. In FBI interview documentation, Harrington reported that Kendrick's body was transported by Owens Removal Service. The reported arrival time was around 1 o'clock p.m. or 1:30 p.m. on January 15th, 2013. The date is wrong and the time is wrong. Kendrick Johnson arrived on January 14th, 2013 before 12 o'clock p.m. The Johnson family was at the funeral home at noon. He was there when they got there. The report describes the condition of Kendrick's body upon arrival as being in an advanced state of decomposition. According to the FBI interview account, the funeral home staff stated the body bag containing Kendrick Johnson was partially open, showing his face, and they noted the decomposition condition and odor. And the funeral home stated something even more critical. They told the FBI that after the body bag was opened, the cavity of Kendrick's body was open from the autopsy, and there were no internal organs with the body. They explained what their normal procedure is. They stated that about 90% of the time, bodies are received with internal organs in a black plastic bag, tied in a knot, marked with biohazard stickers. They stated that in Kendrick Johnson's case, they did not receive any internal organs, and they assumed the organs were kept as part of the investigation. They did not notify the family. Kendrick was a minor. They stated they also never received any clothing with Kendrick Johnson's body. And they stated that the body bag did have a plastic bag taped to it, but it contained a set of earbuds. Now the chain of custody issue becomes undeniable because Harrington told the FBI that normally, when an inventory sheet is provided, the funeral home signs for the items on the inventory. But if there is no inventory, no forms are signed. According to this FBI account, there was no inventory sheet provided with Kendrick's body, meaning there was nothing to sign. So put it together. Owens' transport invoice lacks the times. Harrington reports no inventory sheet to sign. Harrington reports no organs and no clothing. And yet, we are expected to accept a complete and clean chain of custody for organs, fingernails, and clothing, the very evidence that would help determine what truly happened. That is not how death investigations work. Now let's address the decomposition issue. Dr. Gaffney Kraft testified that she weighed Kendrick's lungs, 260 grams for the right lung and 240 grams for the left. She testified the lungs were already decomposed. She said, as tissues decompose, they become lighter, but didn't explain how and why decomposition was advanced in such a short period of time. Was his body in the cooler, or was it not? So here are the hard questions that must be asked, and they are not emotional. They are forensic. If organs were returned as sworn, why does the funeral home report receiving no internal organs? If viscera were disposed of as the coroner letter states, where is the documentation of that disposal, and who authorized it, and when did it happen? Because this isn't a small discrepancy. This is the difference between a clean investigation and a compromised one. We require what the system requires: documentation, signatures, timestamps, inventory, because Kendrick Johnson was not a rumor. He was a child, and the evidence in his death deserved to be preserved, documented, and accounted for, down to the last organ, down to the last fingernail. So here is the question to every agency involved. Where is the verified chain of custody record that proves the exact timeline of Kendrick Johnson's body leaving the GBI facility? Because without that, the public is doing the job the paperwork failed to do. Where is the justice for Kendrick Johnson? It's time to unroll the truth and throw the entire litopsy away.
Okay, let's talk about this a little bit. We have like no documentation that gives us the proof of where Kendrick left, what time he left, what time he arrived, no body intake paperwork, nothing. What I do know is that the Johnsons arrived at the funeral home at Harrington Funeral Home at 12 o'clock p.m. And I also know that Dr. Gaffney Kraft's sworn testimony and statement says that she was done with the autopsy at 11 o'clock a.m. 11 o'clock a.m. But it takes about 2 hours to get from the Macon GBI to Valdosta, where Harrington Funeral Home is. So what happened in between those times? Well, we don't know, because the transportation people were allowed to put NC, no charge, for the times. Let me pull that up. Jay, take it from here while I look for it.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull that up and show you.
And the crazy thing about that is Macon is actually a little longer than 2 hours from Valdosta. Let me see, we about, I think we actually 2 hours from Valdosta, and we're closer.
Wow.
But yeah, they when it came to the timestamps, they put NC as the timestamp, so of arrival of the body and all that. Like it is, they put that to eliminate the time frame of everything. Like
Right.
so to exclude themselves out of it. But it actually put them forefront of the whole thing, because that was important information that should have been documented.
Yeah, I agree. Now I just found this, and now I can't find it. It's diabolical. It's right here. I was trying to show you the paperwork
I'm
from.
talking about the NC on there.
I want them to see, but it's not allowing me to pull it up. Okay, I know what it is. I'm trying to pull up in the wrong form. So I want you guys to see, and I would like to know if they have did that on any other case. Produce some paperwork that shows that you actually put NC for no charge
Right.
on this document. Can you guys see the document where it says NC for time arrived? NC means no charge.
I don't see it. It got you on one side and me on the other side. I don't know if anybody else can see it.
Can you guys see the form? Put a 1 in the chat if you're able to see the document that I have up.
As long as they can see it, we're good. If y'all can see the document, put 1 up in the chat.
Can you see it now? Okay, so right here, time that Kendrick's body arrived, they have NC for no charge. Right here, when it says return, it has NC for no charge. When he put the time that he waited for the autopsy, to be done and his body released, he put NC, no charge. We have no documents that really tell us what time Kendrick's body arrived, what time he left, what time he arrived at the funeral home, because then the funeral home is alleging or stating that they don't sign paperwork when they receive bodies. How does that make sense? The only time they sign paperwork is when they have a pink slip for the person's personal items.
Right.
But they're missing. The personal items are missing as well.
Exactly.
fingernails, clothing, all missing, organs.
Everything.
That was there was Kendrick's black
Earbuds.
earbuds. How
Come
does that
on, man.
make sense? And why didn't the FBI do more investigative work into this? How is this even legal for this to happen? All of it is diabolical because everybody's pointing the fingers at each other and not telling this family what happened to their child's belongings in his organs. All a cover up. All a cover up. Every last one of them. Black, white, green, blue, red. And allegedly, the funeral home received a payout of $5 million, allegedly. I heard they opened up new funeral homes and everything. I wonder what Owens Transport received, allegedly.
Yeah.
Right.
They probably got around to saying him out. So that's a big part of that. Was a big part of it too.
Exactly. And also, who removed
The organs?
Now, the ME, Dr. Kraft, swear she puts the organs in the cavity along, the viscera. Viscera is the organs. Vitreous is the eye liquid that also is very important, which also went missing, right? It tells the time of death. Also went missing. Her assistant, Rodney Bryan, which is the same Rodney Bryan that was in, the autopsy for Mr. Jimmy Lee Williams Sr. He told the coroner, Bill Watson, that they threw the organs away at the GBI. And then Dr. Gaffney Kraft, I just want to say Dr. Kraft because it's very hard for me to say Gaffney Kraft. I have a speech impediment, and that's why I use leftovers. I mean, shoot, you know what I'm saying? Not leftovers, but voiceover. My brain sometimes is faster than my mouth. But anyway, voiceover. So Dr. Kraft, she swore in her sworn testimony in the lawsuit against Heritage Funeral Homes that she put the organs back in the chest cavity, right? But the guy that was in the autopsy room said, no, we threw those away. And then in the FBI report, he recanted, said he got the term, mixed up, the words, vitreous and viscera, or viscera is what you call it. No, sir, you've been in this business for over 30 years. We believe your first account, sir, Mr. Ryan. We're not going to accept your recant because you guys have a history of making people recant their statements in the city of Valdosta. Your first statement is the right statement. We're going to tell you that about you also, Mr. Bill Watson, who put down January 10th, 2013 was the body discovery date. January 10th was the day that 911 and EMTs were there. We're going to accept that first account because that's what you said the first time. And then you came back and you made a report, a second coroner's report, trying to correct the date and didn't even sign that one. And you couldn't even give me a reason, according to the FBI report, you couldn't give a reason why you did 2 reports. We believe your first account. We'll go to Rick Bell, who also put in his lawsuit against Ebony Magazine, and this is facts, I'm not saying allegedly, that Kendrick Johnson's body was found at 1:30 p.m. on January the 10th, 2013. We believe that account, sir. We believe that account. In Owens Transport, we coming for the paperwork. We want to see you provide other documentation that you put NC for no charge. Diabolical. What you think, nephew? I'm going to pull up the next video while you're talking. But all of this is crazy. Somebody knows what happened to the organs. And then the Owens Transport tried to set up Heritage Funeral Home. Try to set them up, saying that the original body intaker person was not there that day. 2 unknown Black men received Kendrick's body. And when he handed over the body to Harrington Funeral Home, it still had the organs in his personal belongings in his pink slips. So whoever was there that day, because the FBI report is heavily, redacted. I'm going to say Antonio Harrington allegedly, but I can't prove it's fact, is the one that was in the office at the funeral home talking to another family, went back to where Kendrick's body was, and his body bag was unzipped. They trying to set y'all up. Or did y'all take the organs? Which one is it? Did you take the organs, or are you going to accept them setting you up for the fall?
That's the crazy thing. I ain't even know I was muted. But that's the crazy thing about the whole thing is everybody is part of the cover up and got paid in the cover up, but then they turning on each other on a slick type of way. They all turning on each other, pointing the finger at each other. That's the crazy part about this whole cover up. When that heat get put up under that tail. Yeah, that's the people trying to recruit.
And they are feeling the heat, family. And KJ's Arnold, we got to keep going because they coming at us like crazy.
We don't give a damn. We going back at them too.
On fake accounts, lying, trying to deflect, gaslighting, trying their best. Windmiller in the comments and Lay touched in. I told you to come so we can have a conversation because you think you know everything. You think just because you were some leader at the NCAAP that you know a thing or two. No, you were friends with the Bells. That's why you were out there windmilling for Brian Bell to go to Florida State University. You were advocating. Y'all friends.
Charlene Thompson, the funeral home got that because they was part of the cover up.
Correct.
They was part of the cover up. A black owned funeral home.
Correct.
Was part of that cover up.
And that's alleged, guys. I have to say that. But that is what I heard. That is what I heard. So the organs were in his body at the time of first autopsy. I have the photos. Jay have the photos. The Johnsons have the photos. His organs were definitely there. What I noticed on Kendrick's organs was the right side of his brain was swollen. The right side of his brain was swollen. The right side is the same side that the person, Dr. Bill Anderson, that completed the second and third autopsy, found blunt force trauma. So they couldn't put the brain back in there, even though they did an x-ray of the brain. According to the autopsy, it was an x-ray, but it was never given to the Johnsons. But the Johnsons have requested that information. So we'll be waiting on that as well. The organs were there. And the way they botched up that baby's body, diabolical. Let's go to another video that we need to watch about Kendrick.
The coroner refused to sign, the body was moved, and the condition tells a story. The truth about what happened after Kendrick Johnson's body was discovered does not begin with the autopsy. It begins with what the coroner himself was told and what he refused to do. According to a documented statement given by licensed investigator Harold L. Lee, who spoke directly with Lowndes County Coroner Bill Watson on January 11, 2013, when Coroner Watson arrived at Lowndes High School, a Lowndes County Sheriff's Office investigator had already declared Kendrick Johnson's death an accident. No autopsy had been performed, no medical examiner had examined the body, no forensic cause of death had been determined. Yet the sheriff's investigator was already telling the coroner that Kendrick had fallen into the mat while trying to retrieve his shoes. They described the position of his body. They narrated how it happened. They presented their conclusion. And according to Harold L. Lee's statement, the coroner was told that an autopsy was not needed, before one had even been conducted. But Coroner Bill Watson did not agree. In fact, according to Harold L. Lee's documented account, Coroner Watson stated that he believed Kendrick Johnson had been placed inside the mat. Placed, not fallen, placed. Because of that belief, Coroner Bill Watson refused to sign Kendrick Johnson's death certificate without an official autopsy to determine the true cause and manner of death. Let that sink in. The coroner himself, the official legally responsible for certifying death, refused to certify Kendrick's death without answers because he believed the circumstances required forensic confirmation. But what happened next raises even more serious questions. According to the same statement, instead of following standard protocol, which would involve storing the body locally in a funeral home cooler, the sheriff's investigator did not appear to want Kendrick's body stored at a local funeral home. Instead, arrangements were made to transport Kendrick's body outside the immediate local custody process. And then Valdosta Police Department, who has publicly denied working Kendrick Johnson's investigation, inserted themselves into the chain of custody by contacting the city of Valdosta and obtaining permission to store Kendrick's body at their city morgue.
I'm going to pause it right there. Hold on. I'm going to pause it right there. Because the city of Valdosta has been screaming for 13 years that they had nothing to do with the investigation of Kendrick Johnson. However, we're learning via the FBI report that they were in fact there. One, that they in fact interjected themselves into the investigation by suggesting that they could store Kendrick at their city morgue. Well, Dr. Bill Winston wanted Kendrick to go to a local funeral home. And at first, if you notice, did I say that prior to even them, talking about where Kendrick's body is to be stored, whoever the investigator, the Lowndes County investigator, I think it may have been Stride Jones allegedly, was telling Bill Watson, the coroner, that he doesn't need an autopsy. He died of an accident. You're a death investigator, and you're not the one who says whether or not a person needs an autopsy or not. Diabolical. You guys were trying to stop the parents from identifying. Well, you didn't try. You succeeded. His body for days. Allegedly, you didn't refrigerate his body because to be in advanced decomposition in 3.5 days, he was not refrigerated. And Mr. Johnson, he also stated on the Finding Kendrick Johnson documentary that when he was allowed to go to the Valdosta City morgue and review his son's body, he opened the drawer and hot air came out of the drawer. So allegedly, instead of you guys refrigerating him, you were attempting to allegedly destroy evidence by baking him. And you think that you're not going to pay for what you did? And you think that you're not going to pay for the crime that you did against Kendrick Johnson while he was alive? And then the abuse of the corpse that you did after he passed away.
That's some evil crap there, boy.
You abused him, he suffered. Right, Jay. When he died.
Evil. That's evil.
And then his body, you made a mockery of. So yes, it's a modern day lynching. If you think about it, they humiliated him the way that they treated him. Having kids in the gym, having other people naysayers and onlookers. See, this is what Bill Watson said that he saw in the FBI report. Curiosity seekers is what he called. All in the hallways in the gym. And it's supposed to be a crime scene.
And had the school running right after that.
And the school wasn't even shut down. They were still in class. Let's get back to it. This is crazy work. This is why we're going to continue to fight.
Why? Why was Valdosta police involved in arranging storage of Kendrick's body at all if they were not investigators on the case?
Madeline.
Why did they involve themselves in the handling and storage of the body? Because the handling and storage of a body is not a minor detail. It directly affects preservation. It directly affects evidence. It directly affects truth. And according to what the FBI later documented, when Harrington Funeral Home received Kendrick Johnson's body, The condition of his remains raised immediate concern. The funeral home reported that Kendrick's body was in an advanced state of decomposition, so concerning that they contacted Coroner Bill Watson to ask what had happened. Funeral professionals, trained and experienced in handling human remains, were alarmed enough to question the condition of the body. And then Kendrick's father, Kenneth Johnson Sr., provided one of the most powerful first-hand accounts of all. When he went to identify his son's body, he stated that when the morgue drawer was opened, hot air came out. Hot air, not cold, not the refrigerated air expected from proper morgue storage. Hot air. This matters because proper refrigeration slows decomposition. Proper refrigeration preserves evidence. Proper refrigeration protects the truth. And now we must look at what the official autopsy photographs themselves reveal. These photographs, taken at the Georgia Bureau of Investigation Medical Examiner's Office, document the condition of Kendrick Johnson's body. They show extensive discoloration across his face, neck, arms, and torso. They show visible skin slippage. They show areas where underlying tissue is exposed. They show abrasions and areas of physical deterioration across his shoulders, arms, and body. They show the condition of his remains as documented evidence. These are not opinions. These are official forensic photographs. And the condition of a body tells a timeline. It tells how the body was stored. It tells how it was preserved. It tells whether evidence was protected. What the FBI report reveals, what Harold L. Lee documented after speaking directly with Coroner Bill Watson, including the fact that the coroner believed Kendrick Johnson had been placed inside the mat and refused to sign his death certificate without an autopsy, what the sheriff's investigator attempted to establish before any medical examination, what the FBI documented Harrington Funeral Home, reporting about the condition of Kendrick's body, what Kendrick's father personally experienced when hot air, not cold air, came from the morgue drawer, and what the official autopsy photographs visibly document, all raise serious and necessary questions about how conclusions were reached before an autopsy, how Kendrick's body was transported, how Kendrick's body was stored, whether proper preservation protocols were followed, and whether the death of Kendrick Johnson was handled with the forensic integrity required under the law. Because when the coroner himself refuses to sign the death certificate without answers, that means questions existed from the very beginning. Kendrick Johnson was 17 years old. He deserved a full and independent death investigation. His family deserves transparency. The public deserves the truth. And Kendrick Johnson deserves justice. Justice based on evidence. Justice based on facts. Justice based on truth. Justice that is long overdue. And now I leave you with one final question. KJ's Army. In forensic science, the body is evidence. Every organ, every tissue, every cell tells a story. Because as decomposition progresses, evidence can be lost. Injuries can become harder to detect. Biological clues can disappear. And the ability to determine exactly what happened can become more difficult. So here's the question I need you to sit with. If decomposition were ever allegedly accelerated in a death investigation, what evidence could that prevent investigators from seeing? What answers could that prevent families from getting? And what truth could that prevent the world from ever knowing? Justice requires preservation. Justice requires documentation. Justice requires truth. And truth does not expire.
All right, family. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Why would you think this is all premeditated, guys? All premeditated. You get to the gym. First of all, it was a botched body discovery, in my opinion. They set up the body discovery of Kendrick Johnson. You guys know what I believe. I believe that they found him on January the 10th because there are sources that I don't name that were students at Lowndes High School that said that there were EMTs and police, unmarked police cars at the school on January the 10th. And this is why I believe that Bill Watson's, the coroner's report says January 10th, which is also why I believe that Rick Bell has January the 10th in his lawsuit. And this is why I also believe that a news station said the death investigators told her that he was found on January the 10th, 2013. There's no way that you're going to keep bringing up this date of body discovery if it wasn't the truth. I dropped a link in the comments for any of the KJ's Army that wants to come up and have a conversation and join the conversation on my platform. You're welcome to come up. Sorry about that. And join the conversation and give your opinion. All of this is diabolical. We learned that we have no paper trail for his body transport. We've learned that they have intentionally sped up the decomposition of his body, allegedly. There are some photos that I can't show on YouTube, but they're on my page of how Dr. Kraft, the medical examiner, basically butchered him. We see bruises all over his body on the autopsy. There is a photo out there that I'll find that there was a dent in his forehead. All of it's diabolical. Does anybody have any questions yet? If not, we'll go to the next video. And that'll be the last one that we show tonight. But this one's very important because it's about the lawsuit. Again, the Johnsons are currently still fighting. There's nothing that they can do to make the Johnsons stop fighting. And I admire this family for that. They refuse to give up. And what this judge is doing to them right now is also diabolical. It's giving allegedly paid off. Diabolical. Because the fact that you admit that there are inconsistencies in the case that concern you, but instead of you trying to move forward to discovery, to review the evidence, we know you saw the evidence. You decide to find a legal technicality, a loophole to dismiss the lawsuit. I hope it never happens to your family. That's all I have to say about that. So let's get into this last video, then I'm gonna let you guys go because it's 9:30 and we all have to work tomorrow. I know I do.
Legal loopholes or a search for truth? When you read the federal court ruling in the Kendrick Johnson civil case, one thing becomes immediately clear. The judgment spends a significant amount of time focusing on procedural technicalities, service disputes, sovereign immunity claims, and pleading standards. In other words, the ruling appears to focus heavily on legal loopholes. But what many people want to know is something much simpler. What about the evidence? What about the environment inside the school where Kendrick Johnson died? Because when a 17-year-old student is found dead inside a rolled up wrestling mat in a school gym, the most important question should be whether the evidence surrounding that environment has been fully examined. Instead of moving deeper into discovery and testimony, the case appears to have been stopped at the courthouse door on procedural grounds. From my perspective, that raises a serious concern. Was the court more focused on identifying legal technicalities in the lawsuit or on allowing the evidence surrounding Kendrick Johnson's death to be examined in full? Because when you begin to look closely at the conditions inside Lowndes High School, several troubling issues begin to emerge, and those issues deserve to be examined, not dismissed through legal loopholes, not buried under procedural arguments, but examined carefully, openly, and honestly. Because when the life of a student is lost inside a school building, the search for truth should always come before the search for technicalities. When you begin to look closely at the environment inside Lowndes High School in the days leading up to Kendrick Johnson's death, several troubling issues begin to appear, issues that raise serious questions about supervision, safety, and accountability. First, there is the issue of bullying. In my investigation, I have obtained video footage from the school cafeteria showing Kendrick Johnson being bullied by fellow student Brian Bell. The video raises an obvious question. Where was the supervision when this was happening inside the lunchroom? Schools have a legal responsibility to supervise students and maintain a safe environment. That duty applies in hallways, cafeterias, and especially gyms. But the cafeteria footage is only one part of the story. There is also video showing students inside the old gym, the same gym where Kendrick Johnson's body was later discovered, engaging in fights with what appears to be little or no adult supervision present. Another piece of evidence that raises serious concerns about supervision inside Lowndes High School is the video showing students fighting inside the old gym. The footage appears to show multiple students engaging in physical fights in the gym with no visible staff intervention. From my perspective, that video speaks volumes about the level of monitoring that may have existed in that space. If students were able to gather inside the gym and fight without immediate supervision, it raises a critical question about whether that area of the school was being properly monitored at all. Schools are responsible for supervising areas where students congregate, especially locations like gyms where large groups gather. To me, the video of students fighting in that gym suggests that the space may not have been actively supervised.
Let's stop right there for a minute because the school actually fought the lawsuit that the Johnsons, their defense was this legal proceeding cannot go forward because the Johnsons still owe them money from a previous lawsuit that they lost in Lowndes County. We all heard about that when they sued a numerous amount of individuals, and the judge, and I'll tell you that the Johnsons have went through so much. This judge awarded the enemies, the ops, $300,000 in attorney fees that the Johnsons had to pay. So the school is saying, well, since they haven't paid these fees yet, then, this needs to be dismissed. What kind of argument was that? I mean, you failed Kendrick. There's video footage of him being bullied in it. We're going to watch it, of him being bullied in the cafeteria by Brian Bell, the alleged unaliver. Brian Bell. I said it. Allegedly. I can't prove it as a fact yet, but we on our way. However, and then you said yourself that the camera video footage, the camera was not working in the gym. I know people actively monitor those cameras, or do they not? Why didn't you fix the camera? You also said that the one camera that was supposed to be facing the mat, it was hit a whole year before, and you guys never fixed it. Neglect. You failed to protect Kendrick. And it's called the Safe School Act that you failed. Not only that, you stored mats upright. Now, we know that he didn't go into the mat head first. We know that for a fact. There's no way that you'll ever be able to allow us to believe he did that, because we don't do stuff like that. But hypothetically, he did. You stored mats in a corner in a dangerous position. Allowed kids to climb on top. You did allow that because that was a teacher, Mr. Coach Philip Piplo was in the gym the morning that Kendrick was found, and the two daughters, which is the daughters of the superintendent, Mr. Taylor. That's how I know that it was all set up, the body discovery. These girls are bougie cheerleaders. Why would they climb on top of gym mats to lay down? Anyway, there's no warning sign that the mats are potentially in a dangerous position. You failed again. You failed in major ways, and I declare that you will pay for what you allegedly assisted in when it comes to the Kendrick Johnson murder, because it was not an accident. Failed to protect KJ. Absolutely. Absolutely. In every way possible. Failed to protect him. And we'll watch this other video where you'll see kids fighting in the gym. They're boxing with, I think, some things in their hands, but there's no supervision in that gym with these kids. It's ridiculous. And I had a source tell me that the gym doors were never locked. She would go to the school, open the gym door, the old gym door, walk right through the gym. She thought the camera footage didn't work at all. Why? And then you have students saying that no, they didn't monitor the gym, the old gym. Everybody knew that the camera wasn't working in that corner. Everybody knew this, so that's why they did it in that corner. Everybody knew that it wasn't monitored. That's crazy. Failed to protect them. That's what you did.
Students fighting inside a gym without immediate intervention raises serious questions about whether that area of the school was being properly monitored. When you place these pieces together, bullying in the lunchroom and fighting inside the gym, it raises a serious question about the environment students were operating in at Lowndes High School. Was the school properly monitoring areas where students congregated? Were staff aware of ongoing conflicts between students? And were warning signs about student safety being ignored? And then there is the condition of the gym itself. The wrestling mats inside the old gym were reportedly stored standing upright against the wall in a vertical position. Storing large wrestling mats upright can create a dangerous situation if students attempt to reach into them or climb on them, especially if there are no warning signs posted about the potential hazard. If equipment is stored in a way that could trap or injure a student, basic safety practices would normally require clear warnings and proper supervision. But there is another issue that complicates the timeline even further. And then there is the critical issue of the surveillance cameras. School officials have stated that the surveillance cameras inside the gym did not provide clear footage of the area where Kendrick Johnson was found. The explanation given was that the camera system in that gym was not functioning properly. That explanation raises another critical question. If the school knew that the cameras in the gym were not working correctly, why were they not repaired? Security camera systems are meant to help schools monitor student activity and maintain safety. If they fail, it should raise immediate concern. So the question becomes, was the camera system being actively monitored? According to information that has surfaced during this investigation, the surveillance camera that should have been monitoring the wrestling mats had reportedly been struck and moved out of position before Kendrick Johnson's body was discovered. That meant the camera was no longer capturing the area where the mats were stored. If school officials knew that the camera covering that area had been knocked out of alignment and did nothing to repair or reposition it, that raises serious questions about whether the gym was being properly monitored. And when you place that alongside the other issues, bullying in the cafeteria, fighting inside the gym without supervision, wrestling mats stored in a potentially hazardous vertical position, and surveillance cameras that were reportedly not functioning properly, it paints a picture of an environment students were navigating that may not have been properly monitored. When you step back and look at the full picture inside Lowndes High School, the concerns begin to stack on top of one another. Video showing bullying in the lunchroom. Video showing students fighting inside the gym without supervision. Wrestling mats stored in a hazardous vertical position with no visible warning signs. And surveillance cameras inside the gym that reportedly were not functioning properly. Each of these issues raises questions about supervision, safety, and accountability inside the school. And here's the part many people may not realize. Schools are not simply encouraged to maintain safe environments for students. They are legally required to do so.
Right.
Under Georgia's Safe School Act, school systems are required to maintain safe learning environments and ensure that students are protected. That responsibility includes monitoring areas where students gather, addressing dangerous conditions, and maintaining security systems designed to protect students. So when questions arise about bullying, unsupervised areas of the school, hazardous equipment storage, and malfunctioning security cameras, those are not small issues. Those are issues that go directly to the heart of school safety laws that were created to protect students. Yet when the Johnson family brought their civil lawsuit seeking answers, the case did not move forward to fully examine these questions in court. Instead, the ruling focused primarily on procedural barriers, service disputes, sovereign immunity arguments, and technical pleading requirements. From my perspective, that begins to feel like a legal technicality game. Because when a 17-year-old student dies inside a school gym, the public deserves a full examination of the environment that student was in. The first question, were students properly supervised? The second question, were safety hazards ignored? Were security systems functioning the way they were supposed to? Those are not small questions. Those are the kinds of questions that go to the heart of school safety, accountability, and justice. And until those questions are fully answered, the conversation about what happened to Kendrick Johnson will continue. Justice for Kendrick Johnson. KJ's army will not stop until justice is served.
Okay, so what we are about to watch now is the actual video of Kendrick being bullied in the cafeteria. I know some of you guys have already seen it. And you will also see Brandon Bell and, well, I believe allegedly it's Clay Griffin going back and forth in the hallway after the incident. So let's watch this real quick. You'll see the bullying and the plotting. You'll see a kid reach down in his shoe, get something out, hand it to Brandon Bell, and Brandon walks away, the whole 9 yards, circles back and pushes KJ.
School surveillance video captures Kendrick Johnson at lunch for what would have been his last meal on the day of his disappearance. Less than 24 hours later, his lifeless body would be found in a rolled-up gym mat, leaving lots of unanswered questions.
Okay, so watch closely.
Watch an unknown student reach down and retrieve something from his shoe and pass it to Brian Bell.
Brian Bell is all black.
Brian Bell retrieves the item, walks away, circles back, and pushes Kendrick Johnson.
Boom, he pushes Kendrick.
Then Brian meets up with someone in the back of the lunchroom. Who? Now, family, let's watch this one more time, but slower. Can anyone identify the two girls standing with the boy that's handing something to Brian?
Literally, it looks like they're standing there watching his back, or just watching. I mean,
cooperated with investigators, only 2, according to the case file, refused to talk to police. The 2 were former Lowndes High School wrestler and now 18-year-old Brandon Bell and his younger brother, a classmate of KJ's. According to a 500-plus page case file, their father is FBI agent Rick Bell, who referred investigators to his son's attorney, and he advised them not to talk to police. Those interviews may have been relevant as students told investigators Johnson and the younger Bell boy, both varsity football players, had a fight on a school bus on the way to a game the year before, suggesting a simmering feud. Still, police reached out to Agent Bell a second time about talking to his sons. His attorney stated after consulting with the father of Brandon Bell and his brother, he had advised them not to make a statement, and therefore the pair would not be meeting with investigators. Meanwhile, a closer look at the attendance records of the younger Bell boy on the day of KJ's disappearance shows he was not tardy or absent. As for the older brother, Brandon Bell, student records show that he and other wrestling team members were excused from...
I want to back up because this guy And actually, Stride Jones, or one of the detectives, said that Brian Bell was in class during this happening, to KJ when KJ walked into the gym. He said that Brian Bell wasn't targeted. But in the FBI report, when the FBI spoke with Brian Bell's teacher, the teacher said she cannot confirm if he was tardy or not. She couldn't recall. So how did they confirm that he wasn't tardy? They just made that up allegedly. They made it up. Number one, and the teacher too. I do not recall statement is a statement that you make when you don't want to lie. In my opinion, I do believe that he was late. Because how do you not recall? Teachers mark students late all the time. I get phone calls about my kids when they arrive at school late. At school, in a class late. They get demerits and everything. You mean you tell me that school did not do that? They did that when I was in high school and I graduated in 1993. So I do not believe that this teacher did not know whether or not Brian Bell was tardy. That teacher definitely knew. And the fact that the detective came out and told the public that he was not tardy is a lie, unconfirmed lie, a part of the alleged cover-up. All right. I'm sorry. Okay, Charlene, we'll see you later. We'll see you later, dear. Okay, so this last part of the video, and then I'm going to let you all go, is where we're going to see the fighting in the gym. And you'll see no adults supervising. And they're fighting so hard. This is not like a boxing match. This is like a street fight match. Street fight boxing match or whatever. So no, there's evidence that it was not properly
third and fourth block classes in order to attend a wrestling tournament 2 hours away in Macon, Georgia.
That's a lie.
While it's unclear when exactly the team left campus, the court-ordered release of
Brendan Bell
surveillance
and
video
allegedly
shows
KJ.
Brendan numerous times the day KJ went missing. Here, footage shows that after at least 2 class periods have elapsed, Bell is crisscrossing the hallway in front of the old gym, in the vicinity where Kendrick Johnson's body would be found the following morning. As far as the video here of KJ at lunch, we have confirmed that at least one wrestling team member who was going to that tournament is in the lunch line just ahead of KJ.
All right, family. That is going to be the end of our show tonight, which is not really a show. We really want justice for the people that we've been speaking of. Point blank, period. That is our goal. That is to obtain justice. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming to the live tonight. I do urge you guys to please join the conversation. This is an open panel. You do not have to show your face at all. It is not required. But come up and talk about it. Give us your opinion. Because we can't do this alone. I can't do this alone. I'm not an alone person. It's going to take the entire KJ's army to get the justice that Kendrick Johnson deserves and required, and he's going to get it regardless. So I thank you for being here, Charlene, Natasha, Amber. We have Azaria. Sorry, guys. We have Pat. And it looks like that's Emin Mammy. I'm not sure how to say your name. I'm sorry. Thank you for being here. Lauren Speak was here. Amber Martin, thank you so much for being here. Madeline Hines, thank you so much for being here. And let me see. And there was some other people here. I just want to thank you guys. Join the conversation. Share the information. Start talking about Kendrick Johnson on your platform. He went national. I saw a news report out of Atlanta where the story has now gained national attention. That is amazing. And I want to give the whole entire Kendrick Johnson, KJ's Army crew, not just me, not just Erica, but all of us, not just Jay, all of us, applaud for doing this to KJ. Well, a job well done. And Jay, do you have anything else you want to say before we go? Jay has slipped away. He probably sleeps somewhere. Okay, guys. Well, I love you. Shout out. It's Justice for Kendrick Johnson all day, every day. It's KJ's Army. Let's continue to raise awareness. Let's continue to dig into the paperwork, the evidence that's being posted. Let's continue to share it on all platforms. All platforms. Talk about him. Talk about him in your community. Talk about him anywhere you go. And talk about it on social media. And again, if you all would like to become a membership, it's $2.99. A member on this channel is $2.99. It's not required. You can also send super chats, super stickers. You can send cash apps. You can send PayPal in order to help support the channel. Because as you can see, I don't just talk. I do make content, meaning I make these videos. And those, it costs me. And I've been paying for it, and I will continue to pay for it as long as I'm able to pay for it. So donations are not required. But I have some supporters that want to. So there you go. I love you guys, and I will see you next time. It will be later this week. And be blessed. Until then, love.
Please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for coming. Please.